Hey men, you're not supposed to be here. Eating the previous supervisor was the last straw, or piece of flesh as may have been. You've all been cancelled. Contract terminated. Time for y'all to leave, now. Peacefully or with force. I said leave. Alright, that's how you're gonna play it? Alright, men, open fire. Take them out. Alright, good job, men. I guess that's it. Now go clean up the mess. That'll be an extra bonus if you get the bloodstains out of the concrete. Greetings, fellow survivor. Today is a momentous day. In this Build a Base episode, we shall be finishing off the 4th quadrant of the base, after which it will be totally enclosed and ready for hordes. In line with keeping things fresh and different, the 4th quadrant will be using turrets, in addition to the electric fences, which is the standard of my base builds. For an easy upgrade, I will also put in dart traps, as those are simply awesome. By using the standard modular design that I've previously shown, adding on blade traps wouldn't be too hard either, and it should work just fine. But let's get started, else we're going to be here all day, and being out in the open at night is never advisable. I will be speeding up the first bit, as you ought to have seen this before, so we'll just do a quick run through of the basics. We have a tower next to the corridor space. At an internal size of 2x2, it can host most things of the traps and electrical items. But you could increase it to 3x3 if you want more space for things. It will work just fine, just look a bit blockier. Note the open space at the side of the tower. We'll get back to what that's being used for later. In front, for the wall itself, we will be using the standard pole walls. They work great and afford a nice visibility for fighting from behind them, and they look alright. They will be taking the majority of the damage, so using reinforced concrete is advisable. Make sure you also upgrade to steel once you have that unlocked and have the iron rolling in. The wall is 9 wide, as making it in multiples of 3 makes it easy to put in blade traps later if needed. At the corner, we have another standard tower. The basic shape is the same as near the corridor, it's just expanded to fit the corner, and we'll leave both sides next to the poles open all the way up. After the corner tower, there are another 9 pole blocks, and making them 3 high at this point is standard and gives you enough to prevent entry by zombies, and you can then decide on a design later of your choosing. At the far side, we approach the corridor space and put in another of the standard towers. That completes the basic shape. As mentioned in previous videos, the corridor is where I normally house the advanced cop trap, as that works great for taking care of any and all zombies, including the radiated feral cops. You could enclose it or make some other traps there. An early addition would be to put blade traps at the top, maybe dart traps, fences, until you can get something more permanent dug in. With the basic shape done, let's look at the specifics here. As you saw, we left the space next to the poles empty. This is where we put in the blocks that will help our traps function. At the bottom, we're going to put in a concrete plate, and it's going to be rotated such that it's covering the hole itself, like this. This keeps the block free from an electric fence. Above that, we're going to put in an arrow slit, which is flush with the side outways, like this. This is where we're going to put the dart trap behind, as they can fire through the arrow slits just fine. Using arrow slits rather than iron bars is preferred, as they can be upgraded to steel for much higher durability. Now, on the 2 spaces above, we have to put something else. So we're going to be putting in iron bars. And why do we put in iron bars and nothing else? Well, we'll get to that. Iron bars are never a good idea to place where zombies can bash them, as they will break sooner or later and a lot faster than steel blocks or even reinforced concrete ones. However, being on the side and on the 3rd and 4th height as here, they don't normally get targeted and pummeled. They will take some damage from cop explosions, so do give them a once over after each wall just to make sure they're in best shape and repair them. So because we're going to be placing the shotgun turrets behind, we do need something to protect them, and arrow slits doesn't give the visibility that the turrets need. So make sure you protect the turrets. Nothing sucks like having a cop explode and taking out your turrets, making you lose the turret and making you lose all that ammunition. And it also leaves a gap in the defenses. So let's make sure we place it here. And actually, that was the wrong one. We actually need the other iron bars. There are 2 types, and the one we want is Let's see if that was the correct one. The one that is flush to the wall. So we're going to put them too high here. Above that, we will be enclosing it in a block just to finish it off. We'll need to do the same on the other sides. So all the towers need to have the same, but I'll do that off cam and come back. Alright, let's get to the electric fences and the tripwires, as these are vital for any wall defenses. They stun, slow, and damage, and can keep zombies from beating your walls long enough for traps to do serious damage and even kill them unless there are too many. So the way we're going to do this is to ensure that we are anchoring everything in the corner. So we have the side and then we have corner. The tripwires go on these ones. The electric fences go one down, because by being 1.5 tall, it means that they are knee level for any zombies. So that's how it looks on this side. And on this side, we do something very similar. We put them here, put it here. And we put down the tripwires. The key when hooking it up is always to hook the tripwire first. So let's take the power here. And you do the corner tripwire. And the corner tripwire goes across the fence to the next tripwire. This tripwire in turn goes to the electric fence post next to it, which will go across back to the electric fence post here. And now basically, if you trip the wire, the electric fence will activate. So we're going to do the same thing for the innermost one. So we hook up the corner one, and that one has to hook up to, and that can be a little bit tricky because of the distance. Alright, it works. And then we hook that up to the fence. And the fence goes to that fence. Now, why do we use tripwires? Well, you could keep everything on at the same time, but you'll be expending 5 times 2, which is 10 times 2, which is 20 watt. Right now, we're only taking 1, 2, 3, 4 watt instead of 24. So that's quite a big difference as far as power draw. And having 2 lines of electric fences also helps in case of one might fail, or it just splits up the zombies so that all are not going to be pounding on your pole wall from the beginning. They're going to get stopped outside and then they'll come in. For the next one, we need to put in the dart trap. So let's get that one. It's meant to shoot across the front of the wall. Dart traps are great for doing damage. However, they just shoot straight, so you have to be careful of where you place them. In this case, we're going to place it here, which means it shoots straight across. For the next one, which shoots there, we'll basically place it here. You can see the openings is here where it's going to be shooting. Same thing goes for here and over on this side. For hooking them up is actually pretty simple. So this one, we want to make sure that it's triggered at the same time as this fence. So we connect it to from this tripwire post to the dart trap. So when the tripwire is triggered, you can hear the dart trap is activating. Of course, there's no darts there, which is probably a good thing, because otherwise we would be dead by now. And what we're going to do here, we're not going to attach it to the tripwire post, because that's not what we want to have. Then it would just feed the power. We're going to hook it up to the electric fence. So that basically when the electric fence is active, which is when the tripwire is active, it will start the dart trap shooting. So if I step on the here, it's going to be activating. Alright, you will be doing the same thing for these segments, but I'm just showing this as an example. Remember, dart traps will only take mobs that are too high. If you have dogs or wolves or crawlers, they're not going to be taken, but usually those are not the main problem. With the damage they're dealing, which is about 46 per second for a normal hit, they actually can do a lot of it. Now we have 2 of them, so it's shooting across for about 100 plus damage every second. So that's pretty good. Actually, it's 90 plus. So as long as they are stocked with darts, they will be dealing the damage. Now there is a potential issue that if the fences or tripwires here to get taken out, they will stop functioning, but at least you'll have the outside fence and tripwires that can help to give you a little bit of time to hook everything up again. And now we get to the meat of the segment, which is the turrets. I've chosen to use the shotgun turret, as those are far superior to the auto turret at short ranges. It lacks the 30 range that the auto turret has, but that doesn't really matter considering the area we're covering is just about 10 blocks away. And because it deals a lot higher damage, and that they only require lead for buckshot and no brass for casing, that really helps too. Still, they can burn through ammo fast if you're not careful. To help with that, my personal preference is to only use them on a switch that you can flick on when you need some help clearing the walls. There might be a bunch of zombies coming or bashing the wall, and you need help to clear and destroy the zombies while you repair, or maybe run for materials, or just have added firepower. So putting on the switch can help with that. If you keep them running the whole time, you will be using a lot more shotgun shells, which obviously takes more resources to keep stocked continually. So for this demonstration, I'm going to use a switch. If you wanted to, you could connect them to the fences, just like the dart traps, and have them fire at the same time as there are zombies at the walls. Just make sure to keep them stocked. So let me put down a switch here just to make it easy, and I'm going to hook up the switch and turn it on. So where do we put it? Well, I guess that's the rub here. So in this case, we are going to put them facing out across the wall. So we're going to put here. The idea is that they need to face out across these iron bars so that they will cover this lane. By putting them here, we can also turn them such that they cover part of the courtyard, which is also helpful in case the zombies break through, because the shotgun turret can still be used because they can help to clear both in front of the walls and any zombies that run through. So that's quite helpful. Now, because we have the iron bars, which is just one wide, let me show that by hooking it up. So we place it here, and let me access it and target it. As you can see, the turret can target through the iron bars and shoot through them just fine. By placing it like this, as you saw, it will cover the area in front of the walls as well as part of the courtyard. Now, if you want the turrets to cover even more, you could replace more of these blocks with iron bars. However, then they're going to be shooting out here, and that's not necessarily needed because I really use them to clear in front of the walls. So that's really up to you. With the total of the 4 shotgun turrets we're going to be placing in the 3 towers, you do get a lot of extra firepower to help manage both in front of the walls and the courtyard. So I think that really helps. So we have this switched centrally, so basically it will be on. We obviously need to stock it with shotgun shells as well, but again, that just helps with the placement. You do the same thing for the other ones, which obviously means this one ends up being here, and this one goes here. You can play around a little bit with the placement and which angle they're shooting at just to make it work the way you want it to. One good thing about placing them a little bit higher up like this is that they usually end up having headshots. They do potentially have a blind spot right in front of here because we do have the arrow slit and the concrete plate. But, you know, even if a zombie is standing behind here and cannot be targeted by a turret here, this turret will be able to shoot it. And either way, of course, you're going to be around the walls and fighting as well, so you'll be able to clear them by yourself. So let's take a step back and look at how it looks now. The rest of the turrets, again, works all the same, so hooking them up is pretty similar. I'll leave that to you. If you want to put in blade traps, you can incorporate the blade design from my electrocuting blade wall segment. I made a video of that previously. And just adjust the entryway with ramp and so on. I'll leave that to you as well. Just review the blade wall video if you run into issues. I will be pausing a little bit here so I can hook up all the towers, and we will be back to do some testing. Alright, all done. We're live and operational. I've switched off the turrets, as you can see here, just to make sure you can see how it looks without them being involved. I'm going to spawn in a few zombies, and you'll see what happened, and we could just make a bit of a baseline here. So I'll have them look at me, and let's see. Let's get a few of our lead. You see they walk up, electrocuted, and the dart traps take them. And as you see, when they're outside, they still get stunned, but it's only when they are right in front of the pole walls that the dart traps will fire. And of course this one is dead, but well, double dead, but it looks alive because it's standing up. So that's pretty easy. Let's pump up the difficulty here. Let's bring in 25 of our lean. You see they walk up, electrocute on the outside one. They step into the inside one. And that works pretty well. Let's turn on the shotgun turret. You see the shotgun turret just goes to town, shooting the zombies that are in front of the wall. Yeah, these ones are... So you can get rid of these ones as well. Let's see if I get rid of this one. And again, this is what happens if you don't hook everything up, because obviously they might take a different path. So let's bring in a white feral radiated. Well, let's bring in 2 of them and not 25. 1, 2, 3. Let's take 3 of them. And of course they're a lot tougher. You see the darts are firing, the electric fence is working, and the shotguns are also shooting. And these ones heal 80 every 3 seconds. But that was pretty fast. Not a major issue. Again, well, he's dead. Soon anyway. Alright, third one is dead. See, that's always a problem. The shotgun turrets do knock them down, and obviously they might look like they're, well, destroyed. I'm not going to say dead. Shotgun turrets together with other traps really do help. Of course, normally these ones are not going to come alone, but using turrets, using dart traps, and using fences can really help. Now let's turn on a few of the radiated feral cops. And let's start with putting in 1. This is normally the bane of any base design because it'll explode. And of course, it does a lot of damage if it's nearby. Alright. Come closer. Alright. You see it gets electrocuted and the shotgun will start shooting at it. Now, killing it is normally not the issue, but you want to get it before it explodes. And you might be unlucky and have the shotgun turrets reload at the wrong time, but using the dart traps, turrets, and the fences is a pretty good way of killing them. Let's see what happens if we put in a couple of them. Alright, so now we have 2, which means the damage is going to be split. Alright, 1 walks up and gets attacked. You see the turrets are just doing what they can, and that's 1 down. Second one is coming in. Turrets are reloading. And now the dart traps are getting involved, and, well, he's dead. See, this is 2 of the radiated feral cops. Of course, there will always be other smaller zombies, but, you know, it does a pretty good job of clearing in front of the base. So what happens if your walls get breached like this? Now there's an opening for them to run in. So let's spawn in a few ones and just have a look at how the shotgun turrets can help. Let's get a couple of the feral one and see if they can make it through. Well, they get stopped here. And you saw the turrets will be targeting even here. So they took care of the ones outside, and then they took care of the one that ran in. Very useful, right? So let's assume that you do have a breakthrough. You have to pull back to something else, and we could get to that in future episodes. You'll still have an opening, and you might not be able to get to it to repair. Well, for the duration of the horde, the shotgun turrets will be firing away, so they will be helping to clear outside of the walls and shooting at the ones that get in. It might not take care of all of them, but at least it will slow them down, which will help you survive in an inner courtyard or some kind of defenses here. And in a nutshell, that is the Electrocuting turret wall. It's a terrible name, I know, but at least you know what you're buying. With that, we've enclosed the whole courtyard, well, except for the broken poles there that I have to repair. In future episodes, I will be exploring ways to improve it even further by hardening the entry points, by extending the defenses outside of the walls, and by layering the defenses inside. So stay tuned. I hope you've enjoyed this Build a Base episode. Do leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more content, and catch me again next time.